thinking.
All right. Well, hello, everybody, and thanks for joining us. Again, we're here tonight for another live training. If you're watching this in replay, excited to have you watch this. But we're going to learn a lot. We're joined again by Edwin and Michael, and we're gonna learn a ton, guys. If you weren't on yesterday for training and you didn't print this out, make sure to take an opportunity to go back and watch that replay. Tons of valuable information. We're going to have even more tonight and throughout this whole series. So as we get started, I want to thank you guys. And let's pass it over to Michael to get started. We'll be back on later. See you guys.
Sweet. Appreciate you guys as always, man. Thanks, guys, for joining in tonight. Finish strong to start fast. One of my favorite series of the year, every year, because our momentum's going so well. That's right, baby. We got it all going on. Hey, guys, appreciate y'all stopping in. I've had some fantastic conversations today. If you're on the call and we talked today, thank you so much again for giving us the time and giving me the time and just pouring into me, making us better. So I've been really, really appreciative, and I can't tell you how grateful I am, Edwin. And then tonight, we talked about it last night. So just recap for you guys what we're doing. The Wheel of Life is what ER was showing you all ago. Make sure you download that. Go back, and we're going to leave this stuff up in the page for a little bit so you guys can pull it off and print it or screenshot it and then spend some time in this, because remember, every time we go live, initially when we do any training, we want you to do the first thing is make it about you, right? And if you look at it on parallel tracks and you think about how you can do it, how we can pour into you, and then as you bring it through, you can pour into other people. So that's kind of the whole premise of it, because you can't be the best you need to be for your family and everybody around you if you haven't taken care of yourself. And I guarantee this time of night, sometimes, I know it's early on the West Coast, but it gets a little late, man. We've been going east since 5 o'clock this morning, baby, and hit the gym earlier than that. So I'm pretty excited. We've been jamming all day long, and just want to let you kick it off, Edwin. Appreciate you being here, brother. I know it was a good day for you, too, out there in the East Coast in Wilmington, North Carolina. I spoke to 2 people from North Carolina today that are inside this group right now.
That sounds fantastic, and welcome, everybody. And yeah, man,
who's with me?
It is beautiful. What a beautiful night on the East Coast. And yeah, it's 9 o'clock, man, but I'm so fired up and excited about what we get to accomplish together. And hey, guys, you go ahead and bring it up on the screen, because where we want to start with this, guys, is we're going to ask you to trust in what we're sharing with you as we go on this journey together. This is a very intentional journey. Michael and I have a lot of fun doing it, and we're going to lean into you guys and meet you where you are. But at the end of the day, we're gonna kind of spoon feed some fundamentals tonight that we really know we're gonna just be your foundational blocks. When you enter into a new journey, a new venture, we're gonna go somewhere different together. You got to lay those foundations, and that always starts with inner reflection, right, Michael? And Michael, I don't know anybody, dude. And I know a lot of people. I don't know anybody that has a better attitude than you. And I know you know more than ever. It's a little thing that makes a big difference. Talk to us tonight about the power of a positive attitude.
You know, we talk about that attitude, guys. That's something like, oh, yeah, I've got to have a good attitude. I got to have a great attitude. Well, I want to give you a little bit different spin tonight about attitude. And you can bring us back up. Now, ER, you can bring that down. It's just a really cool slide that we start with a lot of times. But I want you guys to understand, it's not about having a positive attitude. It's about having the right attitude in the moment. I mean, sometimes it's important to have like a little more aggressive attitude. It's okay to be upset sometimes. Here's what really upsets me is when somebody goes, oh, man, Michael does that positive motivation. Positive thinking is all you need to do. Positive thinking. And Mr. Ziegler said positive thinking, but he also corrected himself later on. He goes, I can have the most positive attitude in the world, but if I get into the ring with an MMA fighter, I'm positive that I'm going to get my butt knocked out. There's no doubt about that. So it's not about having a positive attitude, it's having the right attitude. It's just getting your mindset. And to me, Edwin, it's always been determined. It's always been focused. It's always been, you cannot put them, I am going to outwork you, outlast you, outsmile you, outstay there. Fake it till you make it sometimes is what I have lived by when I've been in my survival mode, because our attitude, the 7 areas of life that we talked about last night, when you talk about, spiritually, mentally, and physically, and personally, and professionally, and your friends and your career, all those things that we talk about, you have to have the right kind of attitude when you're in there, because if you just have a lucky go having fun attitude when you're at work, sometimes you're going to get ran over. You're not going to accomplish what you need to accomplish. And we cannot be a wandering generality. We have to be a meaningful specific. And the only way to do that is walk in with the right attitude, because having the right attitude lets you come in with the right mindset. Pressure goes down, like we talk about in the mindset of a champion. Your confidence goes up. And if you've studied for a test and you're prepared every single day, like say you're taking a test and you study for it, you walk in, pressure's down, confidence up, because I'm prepared. I have the right kind of attitude. It lets you relax. It lets you do things like you need to do them. So when you have the right mindset, which is your attitude, it starts with our attitude every single day. You're going to be able to take the steps and be able to think on your feet and be able to be, hard when you need to, positive when you need to, but more importantly, right in the moment. And then that allows you to use the process, E.
Michael, my wise grandfather told me something. I've been so blessed to have wise mentors. Zig Ziglar was a personal mentor, my grandfather's. And here's what I know about what Michael just said and what I want the audience to hear tonight. My grandfather said, we called it the Rose Garden conversation. He said, Edwin, it's not what you say, but what you do that matters. So you just heard Michael say a lot about the power of attitude and preparing, right? Here's the thing is Michael lives it day to day. He doesn't talk about something that he doesn't put in practice himself. I don't know anybody that's got a better attitude. And Michael, you and I talk about this a lot as we riff back and forth on this very fundamental, because tonight's a very foundational conversation we're having, right? And guys, we're not having a presentation. Michael and I didn't come with a formal presentation for you tonight. We just want to have a conversation. And guess what? We didn't come here to convince you of anything tonight. We just want you to consider the time-tested wisdom that we know yields predictable results, right, Michael? And with that, we know this. The first encounter we have every day is the most important encounter we have, because it becomes a catalyst for everything else we do and communicate, right? And who we have that first encounter with, Michael?
Absolutely.
Ourselves, correct?
Yeah. You look in the mirror every morning, brother, whether I like it or not.
That's right. And what happens, and here's the last point I want to hand it back to you, Michael, as we kind of move through some other things tonight, is that selling at its core, and at the end of the day, this is what we're doing. We're preparing ourselves to be better listeners, better problem solvers, better positioners of a solution that we know solves problems. That's called shuffle, right? So that's the big mind shift. When we get the right attitude, right, and we recognize that selling is a transference of feeling. So when we start our day with affirmation, what you put in is what you send out. When you have the right attitude, you are setting yourself up for the highest level of transference of feeling. And selling at its core is something you do with and for someone, not to someone. So that's why Michael and I always start with attitude. And last point, and back to you, brother, the greatest attitude you possess is the attitude of gratitude. Michael, why is that so important, brother?
Well, we lead with gratitude, E, and it's so important to do that, because when you do that, it also lets people know that you're there for them. You're there for us to have a collaborative conversation. And what you said is it's something you do with and for someone, not to someone. And we've heard this before too. We're all in sales, right? You go try to sell your customer something. I try to sell my kids that I'm a good dad every day. I try to sell you guys that I am who I want to be and who I say I am. And the best way to do that for me is to live it, show it, step into it. Edwin, the next slide that I want to bring up here is I want you to kind of kick you off into this. This right here upsets my status quo. And that's what we want to do. We want to upset your status quo and get you off balance. If we can do that, you're going to be more open for learning, but more importantly, retention. And this is it took me a while to get this, E, but when you go through this, take a minute. We're not going to be here. This call is not going to be very long, guys. We're going to give you 2 or 3 resources you're going to be able to take back. We're going to leave this up. Like I said earlier, you're going to be able to watch it again, E. But I want you to talk to this slide. This is really one of the foundational things that we do.
Michael, after coaching and consulting with people like you and I do and have done for so many years now, what we discovered is that people, unfortunately, we all have a tendency to look to the external reasons for why we aren't achieving more. And so it might be the technology of this. If they could just get this right, or if this was just right, or if it's always about something else. And unknowingly, what we're doing is we're placing obstacles between what we are achieving and what our potential allows us to achieve. And so what we do with Finish Strong, Start Fast is we say this: we're preparing to go on this journey together, to make Shuffle a brand that's known all over the world, as we described last night. And where that starts is with self-reflection. You've got to come inward to prepare for the battle. I was fortunate enough to be a national champion football player in college and be a member of that team. And I always tell everyone that we didn't win the championship on that cold December day, 3-0, when our field goal kicker kicked a field goal on a frigid day. We won that championship in July and August in our time of self-reflection and preparation. And that's where we are right now. This is the season we're in for where we're going. And here's 3 quick steps for you tonight that you see on the screen. As you reflect to become your best you in 2021, I'm going to challenge you as I challenge myself, and Michael challenges himself, and Guy and ER. Encounter what you see. These are the 3 quickest ways to change for the better. These are time-tested and proven, the 3 quickest steps for change for the better. And we can all use that in 2021, professionally and personally. The first one is what you see, encounter. All right, because what you see is what you seek. So that positive affirmation that's a catalyst for your day, leaning into gratitude, taking the time for yourself to rebuild your fuel on a daily basis is a very fundamental way for change. The next thing is expression, because when you start shifting what you see, like, are you going to listen to bad news, sensationalized news in the morning? Or are you going to put the powerful and positive in your mind? Or are you going to take the time to read something like 7 Choices for Success and Significance by Nido R. Qubein? Hey guys, if you do nothing else tonight, I want you to Google Nido R. Qubein, Qubein. Everything we're talking about, this guy's already made happen. You'll be a better person, a better professional if you find out what he's doing. That's an example of shifting what you see. Okay? Then what happens there is expression, what you do. Your behavior follows that transformational pattern. And now you start making better, more efficient choices professionally and personally. And for me personally, I can tell you that's something I have to reflect on every day, because I never hit the mark. I always find myself short somewhere in the relationships and the communication that's most important to me. And I bet if you're honest with yourself, you probably find the same. But you know what? That acknowledgement, that recognition is a catalyst for improvement and change. It's what I admired about Zig Ziglar. I got to know him, and he was such an accomplished man who influenced over 250,000 people around the world. But he was always on the front row learning the most, taking the most notes when he wasn't speaking. Even late in his life, he never arrived. It shifts your behavior. When you do that, it begins to impact your formation, what you become. When you transition what you see, it influences what you do and your formation of what you become, which is your legacy. And Michael and I say this, and we're going to talk about this a lot. Our goal is not for us to endeavor together and collaboratively become successful, because it's so hard to measure success. Is it how much money you make? What kind of house you live in? I know a lot of people make a lot of money and live in really nice houses that have a horrible life. Is that success? See, there's a level beyond success, and what we want to show you and point you towards is a level of significance. And when you achieve that, you begin to live your legacy, not leave your legacy. And it's a challenge that Michael and I have for ourselves. We're on a constant road for improvement. And we've discovered some things along the way that help us to become more reflective and more impactful. But we're certainly not perfect. And we don't expect you guys to be. We just ask you to do this with us. And Michael,
Right.
I'm going to pass it back to you and our best slide, man. One that was transformational for me this year. But, you guys heard my heart tonight.
Yeah, I just want you, guys, I want you to understand about legacy. You know, don't leave a legacy, live a legacy. People say that, and so what is that? What? Yeah, but I mean, that's what I've told my kids that since they were little. I said, don't look. I mean, don't wait. We always wait. We got to wait. I know there's things we have to plan and prepare before we can do, but man, to be, do, and have more and chase significance. That's important. We'll talk more. Obviously, we're going to talk more about that, E. So I appreciate you sharing that, man. I love that, because when when you chase it, think it, then you change it, you become it. Basically, what you just said.
Michael, this year, as the spring of 2020, and for everybody listening tonight, you don't have to think back too far to know that was unprecedented in our lifetime, right? There were things going on with the pandemic spread and the lockdowns that were happening in the spring of 2020 that significantly impacted us all. And you and I were having a conversation, and I'll never forget this, man. We were preparing to go live to influence the 100,000 plus people we're fortunate to be able to be an influencer in front of. And we were talking about ideas for what was going on and how we could reach the people. And dude, you laid out these 4 things, and I had to stop you. You remember that? I stopped you and said, wait, say that again. And we've now incorporated that, right?
Yeah.
And we've got that.
We
for
actually
the
have that
tonight.
slide right now.
Yeah, we'd love that, man. Michael, this is an example of everything we talk about being, which we're going to talk more about tomorrow night, responsive versus reactive. But you just naturally, in a time of professional and personal challenge for you, right? You leaned in and you created a process that has yielded a predictable result. Will you talk about this for the folks tonight? If they don't hear anything else, I hope they'll hear this.
Yeah, we're gonna talk through this, and then we've got a resource for you. We want you guys to be able to have and take with you. We'll also post it in the chat below on the Facebook. We're gonna leave it up, but I know everybody said 2020 was the worst year, the toughest year for me, really and truly. In one of these days, you guys, I'll share my story, and I was at a point where I literally I was just struggling. Everything was on me. And after every conversation, every encounter, I literally had to do this. And I did it so I could say, okay, what's next? No matter if that conversation or that encounter, that interaction I had with someone, I would step back and I would refocus, okay, reset myself, and then restructure my day and my conversation. Okay, what was I planning to do? Which is going to tie into our win list. But I had restructured, and then I would relaunch myself. And I literally was doing it every conversation, in the truck, and when I got in, when I was at the house, when I got off the phone, every text I meant, I was having to step back because of what was going through. Literally the most challenging thing that I've ever had to do this year hit me. And for me to be here today, it's because of the great people like Edwin and the rest of my team and my family and friends that have been around me. But every single time I just sit back and I refocus. Okay, that conversation's over, because how many times have you had this happen? You have a bad conversation, you get upset, and then you carry it with you the whole day. Does that ever happen? The night before, you get all excited, you're going to go have a good day, and then that morning you get up and you get in an argument with your spouse, or some kind of email or text message comes in, and you let it blow you up, let it control you. You control your day. No one else does. You don't let someone take away that time for you. So I had to step back and I had to refocus. Okay, what are we here to do today? So I had to okay, it's going to start over every time, every conversation, every time I get out in the truck, every time I take a step, I'm going to reset. Then I'm going to step back and restructure everything that I've already done just mentally real fast in my day. And then I'm going to relaunch. What I was able to do with that in those little bitty microseconds of those moments, attitude moment, and the process I was using allowed me to structure a day, a week, a conversation with Edward, with ER and Guy and Edwin. I mean, I was able to, because I was in no shape when we first started talking, guys, and y'all will hear more about this later. But that's what this really did for me, E, is to allow me to be, it allows me to set my goals and set my win list up. So, okay, what are we really here for? What it does, it pulls the emotion out of it a lot of times for me, because I'm a pretty emotional guy. As you guys can tell, a little bit of me probably goes a long way. And you can pull us back up now, ER. But Edwin, I just wanted you to, I appreciate you letting me talk about that, because that's been a big deal for this year, kind of re-saying it in a different way, but to get myself to refocus, take a lot of emotion out of it, and move forward with my life.
Guys, you heard Michael's heart there. Hopefully you hear in ours. And ER, in a second, I want you to come back to that screen, because I want to speak to what I heard Michael say that day. But on the book that I was showing to you guys on page 20, and Michael and I will be talking about this with you guys, we talk about choosing transformational patterns, and what Michael established. And ER, go ahead and go back to that last screen you just had, the black screen. Yeah. Michael, at a time of a tremendous adversity personally, while he'd experienced a lot of blessings professionally, right? That's why success is not the goal. Because if Michael had focused on success, he'd have never been prepared for the personal challenges that he and his family experienced. And so he leaned into a predictable process that allowed him to be his best. And that's what you see on the screen. And think about this. And this applies to all of us. What you choose is what you get. So at a time of great challenge, Michael chose to lean into positive energy. He chose to lean in to a process that yielded predictable results. Why am I emphasizing that? Because as we share together and grow together, we're going to introduce you to a process for building your business and your sales and your income and your family and your communication that's going to yield predictable results. In our time of challenge, we get out of alignment and we begin becoming unconsciously detrimental to our pursuits. And here's when Michael told me these 4 things: refocus, reset, restructure, relaunch. I added the bullet points beyond it. I said, Michael, what I heard you say is you chose a disciplined response. It was a strategic adjustment that became a proactive plan that had a fundamental strength that yields positive energy. You see, master the skill of saying more with less. And when I finished, Michael said, brother, that's exactly what I did. Right,
yeah,
Michael?
You can pull this up. That's right.
Yeah.
That's exactly what it was. You can pull that, take that down now, ER. That's exactly what it was, man. It's really cool. We've worked together for a long time. Edwin teaches me. He mentors me in a lot of ways too, and gets me to validate a lot of things. You're going to do a ton of stuff as you move through your life, but there's only two things you will do always. Sometimes both. You will educate or you will validate. You're going to hear me say this over and over again because my kids have heard. Educate means, oh, I learned something, right? Validate is mean, oh, I do that. That's what I do. Sometimes it's a bad thing. Ooh, I do that. I am that way. I got to change that. So that's very, we validated that. Edwin. So let's give these guys the resource for this evening and kind of wrap this bad boy up. But this right here, there we go.
Michael, man, this is your invention. I mean, Michael's invented a lot of. He's taken things that are so complex, and he's made them so simple and yet so effective. As we travel North America, I will tell you that there's not one slide or one thing that Michael and I have done. And sometimes we'll go in and spend 2 straight days with companies. This is always the thing when we come back that they bring back up. It's a win list. Michael created this. Here's the thing. Everybody, everywhere we go, every coaching, every consultant call we have, and you've been on some calls with Michael, some of you already, it's always about time management. The reality is we don't manage time, we prioritize time. There really is 86,400 seconds in every day. We want to be strategic and tactical, and it's not about time management, but energy management. And so here, Michael, I'm going to hand this back to you, man. You invented this, and you did it really at a place of survival in your life, but it's a discipline, and I emphasize that word discipline, that has become a catalyst, that is a consistent step you take daily and have taught now thousands and thousands of people around the world to do the same. And what's been the end result for you, brother? What's the positive energy that has put you in the position you are? Because I don't think Michael Ray Newman is on this call tonight without this resource we're leaving y'all with. In my heart of hearts, I don't believe that he would be here tonight without this one tool, Michael.
Yeah, and this is such a simple tool, right? I don't do anything if it's not hard. I mean, if it's too hard, I just, keep it simple. That's for sure. And Edwin said it really well. I mean, there's 86,400 seconds in a day, and we don't manage our time. You prioritize it, and you manage your energy of what you give it to, and it kind of falls back on those 4 R's. But a win list, all it really is a to-do list. But for me, it was what's important now. It's kind of like the 4 R's. I had to step back, and I had to I was at a point in my life when I was just lost. I had lost you'll hear my story someday, but I'd lost my wife, lost my kids, lost my house, lost one of my trucks. So I was at a point where I didn't know. I mean, I literally had to put a to-do list together. And what I did was I made it my win list. And I wrote at the top of the page, W period, I period, N period. What's important now? Right now, what's important? You can go ahead and take that down now, because we're gonna give you this resource tonight. So it's going to be in the feed. Pull it out, or you can just write it down. And what is a win list? It really is just a to-do list. But for me, I was at the bottom. Like I said, I had through my 20s. You talk about survival. We go through the 4 S's is what we call it tonight. We got survival mode, and then we call stability, then we call success, and then significance. So we're chasing all the time. And somewhere in those 7 areas of the wheel of life, all this stuff is going to tie together. Somewhere in those 7 areas, you are in a survival mode right now. Whether it be somebody in your family sick, whether you're just struggling for money, whatever it is, physically, you may be having some problems health-wise, but whatever that is, you're in survival mode. When you're in survival mode, you ask a happy person what they want. They want all these things. Think about this. A happy person wants, man, I don't know what I want to do next. I got all this. I'm having some success. I'm doing good. I'm paying the light bill. I'm taking my wife out to dinner. That's when stability. I'm starting to buy the vacation home. We got the kids' college paid for. That's success. But think about this. When somebody's happy, what's next? What do you want to do? Let's see. But think about when you're sick, when you are struggling. I mean, you feel terrible. You only want one thing, right? You just want to feel better. That's all you want. And at some point in your life, you're in survival mode. And when we get there, sometimes you freeze and you can't move and you don't know what to do. So you just lay there, and a lot of people quit. For me, I wrote that down. What's important now? I mean, it was like, get a job, get gas on my truck, get money. And then at the very bottom of it is get my wife back, get my kids back, right? Be a better dad. Those things were on that. So what's important now is a to-do list, but it's like that, just so you can put down what's important right now. It brings me back, but it's because as soon as I get pulled away, because life happens, right? Like I said before, you can have your win list every night. My kids call it a win list. My people that work for me call it their win list. When they have some Michael list, it's on my win list. I'm going to get that done tomorrow. We write those things down, and it can be whatever for you. It can be everything. It can be just business. It can be personal. It can be just what it is that day, because that's what it is for me. It continues to be that. But some people are putting down their longer term goals is their win list, because your whole life in our 20s, 30s, and 40s, we're survival mode. We're trying to be, do, and have more for ourselves. Be, do, and have more for ourselves. But significance is when you can turn around and help others be, do, and have more. And that's when you are not leaving a legacy. You turn to living a legacy. That's when you stop winning and losing, and you start winning and learning. That's when we really impact these people. And I want to give you something today, guys. At the end here, Edwin, I got one thing I want to give to you guys that are still on the call about Shuffle and about selling Shuffle. I want to give a little quick sales tip of kind of leading into what we're going to be talking about in December, what we're going through as far as building the business. But Edwin, that's my little win list tonight, man. And we'll have, like I said, we'll have the link in the bottom there.
Yeah, hey, really fantastic, Michael. And, guys, we're laying a foundation here. We're going somewhere very intentionally, and we're going to begin introducing a little more tomorrow night. And then we'll talk about some implementation on Saturday morning. So we want you to join us all. But Michael, you've been a practitioner of Shuffle, and you've gotten some immediate results. So the floor is yours, man. Leave them with a big aha moment tonight. I know you will.
I don't know if it's a big aha moment, but it's the little things make the big difference, right? A couple of conversations that I had today, I'd ask some guys, how do you lead with your Shuffle card? Because Shuffle has made a huge difference, especially in one company that this year. I mean, it's made a huge difference financially. I mean, we've blown it up, and I'm going to share how I did it. But Shuffle, does everybody know how much Shuffle costs? They're going to tell you Shuffle costs $10, right? No. Shuffle costs you $20. So I'm just going to have a conversation with myself here. And I'm going to be talking to myself. Hey, Michael, I saw your card with your work you guys do. Your construction company, it's really good. I want you to come out and bid my stuff for me. And then I'm going to say back to you, well, I really appreciate that. It means a lot to me and my family because it's a family business and we are in construction. And then I'm going to say back to myself, but you know what? I love this. How do you have this business card or whatever you have here? What is this? And I'm gonna say, oh, that's called my shuffle card. It's the pandemic business card. No, what we do is we run. It's kind of like a web page. It's also a lead generation. I tell a little bit about it, but you can do is use it for a business card. My other self, hey, I want to use this for myself. I said, well, it's $20. This is the key. It's $20. It's $20 a month. And what you do is get a business card, and you can get as many as you want, man. It really has helped me. We use it on Facebook, social media. I can text it to people. When they open it up, I see right away that they've opened it up, so I'm able to follow up. Wow, let me have that. Well, it's like $20 a month. I don't care. Bring it. And I said, I'll tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to let you scan this little QR code right here on my phone. And if you scan this and if you sign up from this, it's only $10. I can get it to you for $10 a month. How's that sound? 50% off. Oh. I think about that. There's a gap there that I've seen. I've had a lot of conversations. I've seen a lot of you guys, just that little shift in it can make a big difference, because when I give them this card right here, I say, I got a QR code for you. Now, remember, this is special. So I'm going to let you scan it, but I want you to understand, you see how I pull it back, makes them want it even more. I want you guys to understand that this is 50% off forever. You get it. It's only $10. I mean, and that what they do is take that, they take action faster, and I'm able to follow up, and I put some business cards in like that. So maybe if you, we just get so comfortable as an affiliate, and we've always paid $10, it's $10. If somebody else signs up, I think it's $19.99, but you're able to give it to them for that discount. So that little shift, Edwin, helps a lot when you know you can give it to them for a better price.
No doubt about it, Michael. And what you do is when you do that is you upset the status quo, and of course, at the end of the day, and that you've already built the relationship, right? You build all the value before you talk about price, which is the critical thing that people need to hear there. You shared your personal experiences, and then you gave them a value proposition, and they leaned in, and then you gave them a call to action. That's just remember selling something you do with and for someone. Now, little steps. That's right.
That's right. Hey guys, appreciate you. We went about 31 minutes tonight, 32. We're normally going to go shorter. We have so much to tell you. We're trying to hold back. I'm so excited. We're trying to hold back. We got the slingshot, man. You know, if you pull a slingshot back, Edwin, let go, it'll go bloop. But if you pull it way back, oh baby, that's going to go long. I'm excited, guys. Have a great evening. Appreciate you. Be nice, have fun, play hard, make it count, and we'll see you tomorrow night. Bam.
Bye.